Testing, testing.
Hello. बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम। सबसे पहले तो आप लोगों को इस महफिल में, इस इवेंट में खुशामदीद कहते हैं। खासकर बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम अगेन। सबसे पहले मैं तलावत के लिए मोहम्मद अहमद अली को बुलाना चाहूँगा कि वो तलावत करें। आ जाओ।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها، لها ما كسبت وعليها ما اكتسبت. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به، واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا. واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا، أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Allah does not impose upon any soul a duty, but to the extent of its ability, for it is the benefit of what it has earned, and upon it the evil of what it has wrought. Our Lord, do not punish us if we forget or make a mistake. Our Lord, do not lay on us a burden as thou didst lay on those before us. Our Lord, do not impose upon us that which we have not the strength to bear, and pardon us and grant us protection and have mercy on us. Thou art our patron, so help us against the unbelieving people. Sadaqallahu al-Aliyyul Azim.
माशाल्लाह मोहम्मद, अल्लाह सलामत रखे, बहुत खूबसूरत तलावत करता है। दोबारा से मैं आइकॉन की तरफ से सबको खुशामदीद कहना चाहता हूँ। शुक्रिया अदा करने की मेरी हैसियत नहीं है, और ख़ासकर जो हमारे जजेस हैं जिन्होंने ये एक ज़िम्मेदारी कबूल की और एक सेंसिटिव मैटर में इतना माशाल्लाह हमको हमारा साथ दिया, इसके लिए एक लाउड सलावत आप लोग पढ़ दें। उसके साथ साथ मैं ये मेरे लिए बड़े आई एम रियली आई वाज वेरी एंशियस टू नो what Karbala means to me. I mean, a lot of curiosity in behind this. और मुझे हैरत ये है माशाल्लाह बल्कि कहना चाहिए कि काबिल तहसीन है वो माँ बाप जिन्होंने अपने बच्चों को इस मौजू पे बात करने के लिए तैयार किया और माशाल्लाह यहाँ लेकर आए। यानी ये ऐसी चीज़ नहीं है कि आदमी कहीं गया शिरकत की चलाया, बल्कि ये एक ऐसी चीज़ है जिसके अंदर उनके बच्चों के तासुरात यहाँ पे आएंगे, जो कि बहुत हिम्मत और बहुत ही प्रोग्रेसिव बात है इंशाल्लाह। ये इस टाइप के प्रोग्राम जो हैं विलायत एकेडमी, लास्ट ईयर विलायत एकेडमी ने एक प्रोग्राम किया था एटिकेट्स ऑफ आज़ादारी पे, और इस दफ़ा इस मौजू पे किया है कि व्हाट करबला मीन्स टू मी, जिसकी मल्टी डायमेंशनल चीज़ है, इसकी कोई लिमिट तो है नहीं, लेकिन काबिल तहसीन है वो पेरेंट्स और वो बच्चे जिन्होंने माशाल्लाह अपने पेरेंट के साथ मिलके इस इनिशिएटिव को आगे बढ़ाया। मैं वक्त बहुत कम है इसलिए मैं माशाल्लाह बच्चे आ रहे हैं और माशाल्लाह हमारी अटेंडेंस माशाल्लाह बहुत ही अच्छी है इसमें, तो मैं बुलाना चाहूँगा फराबी को कि वो उस प्रोग्राम को आगे कैरी ऑन करें। शुक्रिया जी। एक दुरूद पढ़ दीजिए ज़ोर से।
Assalamu alaikum everyone. So please read a very loud salawat. As what Dr. Firdaus just said, yes, certainly. You are here. It's not easy, as you have just heard, to stand in front of the honorable judges, not only the judges, but a huge number of other people. All of you are already winner. So it's not easy at all. Time बहुत कम है, so we'll quickly start. I just need to introduce our judges. ज़रूरत तो नहीं है. You all know. They are very dear, very close. You know all of them. But as a formality, I have to share the names of our honorable judges. आप अपना तारुफ हवा बहार की है, तो नाम लेने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, but I have to. So there is a panel of 5 judges. Sister Huma Jabez, Zakrai Ahlebat, you all know her. Sister Kakabadi, Zakrai Ahlebat, you all know. Sister Dr. Firdaus, Zakrai Ahlebat, you all know. Brother Masoom Ali, you all know, long time serving community member. Brother Ali Stefan Naqvi, another community member. A lot of, all of these, they are doing a lot of things. And the proof is that they all are here. They are very busy, like others, but they have given us time. So please read a very loud salawat for our judges. Secondly, as Dabi just discussed about the parents and the students, so I'm not going to repeat it. Just before to start it, the order of contestant is according to the age. So the youngest will come first, and in this hall among the contestants, the oldest will come in the end. So the age group is now from 7 years to 17 years. So all contestants will be called according to their age. You feel free, the language you have chosen already, and the time limit is 5, maximum 5. So if you are set with 3 minutes, that's okay. Maximum is 5. One thing for contestants, if you all please pay full attention here, when I'll call your name. For example, if I'll say I'm taking a random name, now the contestant Zahra is coming. So Zahra will come here, stand here and wait. Okay? When I'll say your time starts now, then you'll start. Clear, all contestants? So when Zahra will come here, stand, I'll say now your time starts, you will start, and then if you are 3 minutes, 4 minutes, you're okay. But if when the 5 minutes done, you will hear this. That means 5 minutes done. Okay? Secondly, as the criteria said, the decision of the judges would always be final. No other thing after the decision of the judges, as everywhere it happens like that. Okay, so our first contestant, Anaya Ali. The youngest participant, Anaya, your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anaya Ali. To me, Karbala means brave, kind, and always truth. Imam Hassan alayhi salam taught us to stand for what is right even when it is difficult. I so remember the thirsty of baby Sakina and Ali Asghar. It teaches me to be thankful for water Allah gives us and help others. I want to follow the teaching of Imam Hassan by praying, listening to my parents, to everyone, and always do the right.
Salawat.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Anaya Ali. To me, Karbala means being brave, kind, and always doing the truth. Imam Hassan alayhi salam taught us to stand for what is right, even when it is difficult. So remember the thirsty of baby Sakina and Ali Asghar. It teaches me how to be thankful for water Allah give us and help others. I want to follow the teaching of Imam Hassan by praying, listening to my parents, being kind to everyone, and always doing the right thing that you please rethink doing.
Please read a very loud salawat. Now our next contestant is John Ali.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I would like to share what Karbala means to me. Karbala is not a story from history. It is a lesson that teaches us how to live every day. When I think about Karbala, I think about our third Imam Hussein al-Islam, who shows that doing the right thing is more important than what is easy. Imam Hussein stood truth, justice, honesty, and kindness, even when it was very difficult. His courage teaches me that real bravery is not being the strongest. Real bravery is choosing to do the right thing, even when it is hard. Karbala also makes me ask myself an important question. Do I only speak doing the right thing, or should I actually do it? It is easy to talk about courage when nothing is difficult, but the true courage means standing with the truth is when there is a price to pay. When someone is being treated unfairly, Karbala teaches us to not look away. It reminds us to take care about people who are suffering, make dua for them, and support them in good, peaceful ways. We should never ignore injustice just because it's happening to someone else. Another lesson I learned from Karbala is that we should stand together. It is easy to come together for celebrations and gatherings. But Karbala teaches us that we should also stand together when people need our help. A strong community is one that supports each other during both happy times and difficult times. Karbala also teaches me to be patient. Sometimes things do not go the way that I want. I might lose a game, find my homework difficult, or have a bad day. Karbala reminds me to stay patient, trust Allah, and never lose hope. It teaches me to be kind too. I can follow the examples of Imam Hussein by telling the truth, respecting my parents and teachers, and classmates, and sharing with others, and treating everyone with kindness and fairness. I also learned that one person can make a difference. Imam Hussein al-Islam shows that even you stand alone, you should never give up the truth. His example teaches me that my actions matter when they seem small. To me, Karbala is not only something we should remember during Muharram. It is a responsibility that we should carry every day. It reminds me to be brave, truthful, patient, compassionate, and to stand what is right. My hope is whenever I remember Imam Hussein al-Islam, I will try to become a better person. I want my words and my action to show honesty, kindness, and courage. That is what Karbala means to me. Thank you for listening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah. Now I'll call upon Sayyida Ariza Fatima. Ariza, wait. You ready? Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sayyida Ariza Fatima. Today I want to share what Karbala means to me. A long time. A long time ago, in a hot desert called Karbala, Imam Hussein al-Islam, the grandson of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood up for the truth of what was right. He had very little water and very few friends, and a huge army against him, but he never gave up on truth. Imam Hussein was not alone. His family stood beside him. Even his little daughter, Bibi Sakina, felt scared and thirsty and scared, but her family never lost their faith. When I think about a family staying so strong together, even in the hardest moment, it makes me want to be strong too. His sister, Bibi Zainab al-Islam, showed the world how powerful a woman can be. Even after losing so much, she never lost her faith, and she bravely told the truth about what happened in Karbala, so the whole world would remember it. She shows me that girls can be brave and powerful too. Karbala reminds me of important lessons I try to carry with me every day. 1. I should always tell the truth, even if it's difficult. I should help others even when I don't have much to myself. I should never be afraid to stand up for what is right. I should stay strong and patient, just like baby Zainab alayhi salam, even when things are hard. Every Muharram, we remember Karbala. We are not just remembering something sad, we are remembering something powerful, a family that gave everything for truth, and a lesson that will stay with me my whole life. When I grow up, I want to be honest like Imam Hussein alayhi salam, brave like baby Zainab alayhi salam, and kind to everyone around me, just like this wonderful family taught us to be. Thank you, and the big Ya Hussein.
MashaAllah. Now, as Qasim Abbas was before her, he's right here. Qasim Abbas, you can come.
Just want to clarify, the reason why we're switching mics is some of the younger kids, their voices are a little bit low, so it's not able to pick up on this mic, and so we're adjusting as we go along. So it's for the yeah, so that's why we're trying to adjust it as we go along. Obviously, the younger children are, their voices are a little bit different than kids who are older. So please, judges, please adjust that as you go along. So we're trying to adjust it in the back.
I'll be using this one.
Try this one.
So now he's Qasim Abbas Zaidi, contestant number 3. Wait a minute. Ready? Okay, your time starts now.
الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. When I think of Karbala, I think of a battlefield. There were two groups of people, the good versus evil. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was on the right path, the path of Allah, and he taught us to stand up for justice, no matter what. The other side was evil, the Yazid's army. Imam Hussein and his 72 companions stood up for Allah. As Imam Hussein alayhi salam said, someone like me wouldn't pledge allegiance to someone like Yazid. And another famous declaration is that death with dignity is better than a life of humiliation. It's a timeless reminder to never bow to oppression. Next, I want to talk about loyalty. Who comes to your mind when I say loyalty? Hazrat Abbas, right? Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam is the symbol of loyalty and bravery. He could have fought against Yazid's army, but Imam Hussein alayhi salam told him not to. So he didn't fight against them and gave his life to bring water to the tents of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Then I want to talk about faithfulness. How Imam Hussein alayhi salam told his companions to leave and save their lives, but no one left, even when Imam Hussein alayhi salam turned the lights off. When he opened the lights, everyone was still there. They said, even if we were killed 70 times and brought back to life, we will still stay with you because you're on the right path. Another thing that comes to your mind about Karbala is sacrifice. Everyone sacrificed themselves to save Islam. Hazrat Qasim, Hazrat Anand Muhammad, Hazrat Ali Akbar, Hazrat Ali Asgar, and Hazrat Abbas, and Imam Hussein, and even the babies gave their hijab to stand up against injustice, to carry the message of Imam Hussein forward. In conclusion, what Karbala means to me is that you should stand up for justice even when it means standing alone against overwhelming odds. Salawat.
Now the next contestant, Ishal Fatma.
We can't have both mics on at the same time. Just turn one on.
contestant name is Ishal Fatma, contestant number 5. Your time starts now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today, I would like to share what Karbala means to me. To me, Karbala is much more than a battle that took place over 1400 years ago. It is a timeless story of faith, courage, sacrifice, and standing for the truth. Every time I hear about Karbala, I learn a new lesson about how to become a better Muslim and a better person. One of the greatest lessons I have learned from Imam Hussein alayhi salam is to place complete trust in Allah. Even when he was surrounded by thousands of soldiers and faced impossible circumstances, he never lost hope or wavered in his faith. He knew that standing for justice and truth was far more important than choosing the easy path. His courage reminds me that doing the right thing is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Another lesson that deeply inspires me is the importance of prayer. Even on the day of Ashura, when the battle was at its most intense, Imam Hussein alayhi salam did not neglect his salah. He asked for time to perform the prayer, showing us that our connection with Allah should always come first, no matter how difficult our circumstances may be. This teaches me that prayer is not just a daily obligation, it is our source of strength, hope, and guidance. Another powerful lesson from Karbala is loyalty. On the night before Ashura, Imam Hussein alayhi salam gathered his companions and told them that they were free to leave. He even turned off the lights so that anyone who wished to go could leave without feeling embarrassed. Yet everyone, and one of them, chose to stay. They stood by their Imam because of their unwavering faith in Allah and their deep commitment to the truth. Their loyalty inspires me to remain faithful to Allah and to stay strong even when life becomes difficult. One of the most inspiring personalities for me, of Karbala for me, is Sayyidah Zainab Salamu alayhi. After the tragedy, despite her overwhelming grief, she carried the message of Karbala with extraordinary courage. She spoke with wisdom, dignity, and unwavering faith, ensuring that the sacrifices made on the plains of Karbala would never be forgotten. Her example teaches me that one voice, when raised for the truth, has the power to inspire generations. The stories of the children of Karbala also touch my heart deeply. Ali Asghar alayhi salam, who was only a baby, was martyred during the tragedy. The hardships endured by Bibi Sakina salam alayhi after Karbala remind us of the immense sufferings faced by the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Their patience and faith inspired me to be grateful for the countless blessings Allah has given me and to remain patient and hopeful during my own challenges. The message of Karbala is not only a lesson from history, it is a guide for our lives today. Sometimes people think Karbala is only something you remember during Muharram, but I believe Karbala should influence how we live every day. Every time we choose honesty over cheating, kindness over anger, patience over frustration, and justice over wrongdoing, we are trying to live by the values that Imam Hussein alayhi salam taught us. It teaches us to be kind, to be honest, kind, brave, patient, and to stand up for justice, even when it is difficult. It reminds us that no matter what challenges we face, we should never lose our faith in Allah or compromise our values. To me, Karbala means hope, courage, sacrifice, and unwavering faith. It reminds me that Allah is always with those who stand for truth and righteousness. I pray that I can follow the example of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, strengthen my faith, serve others with sincerity, and always choose what is right, no matter how difficult the path may be. May Allah grant us all the strength to live by the values of Karbala and keep us among the sincere followers of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please read a very loud salawat. Next contestant, Hussein Mustafa. Yeah, just say salam so we can test the mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay. And speak louder. Your time starts now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum ya Aba Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum my fellow brothers, sisters, teachers and judges. My name is Hussein Mustafa and today I will be talking about the Battle of Karbala, an event that happened 1400 years
prior. However, it will remain in our hearts for eternity. I believe Karbala was divided into two parts. One led by Imam Hussein alayhi salam on the battlefield. Second, led by Janab Zainab. Mullah Imam Hussein alayhi salam left Medina with his family, knowing that he would be killed. Yet he chose to stand up for the truth, justice, and values of Islam. Reflecting on my Mullah's sacrifices in Karbala, I learned the true meaning of living a life dedicated to a greater cause. He teaches me that a meaningful life is not measured by worldly success, but by the principles we all stand up for. Looking at contributions of Mullah Qasim alayhi salam, Mullah Muhammad alayhi salam, and Mullah Ali Asghar alayhi salam, Karbala reminds me that even someone as young as me has a purpose, a responsibility, and a role in carrying forward the values of justice and faith. The second Imam Hussein alayhi salam of Karbala is Janab Zainab. Her contributions are larger than life. She saw her loved ones passing away one after another, including her sons, her brothers, and her nephews. Standing alone in the battlefield, she was still a source of hope for others. She reminds me to stay strong and to care for others, even during the hardful times. If not for Janab Zainab, the message of Islam would have never been complete. Respected listeners, Karbala is my code of life. I strive to be a better brother, a better son, and a better Muslim as I continue to learn from Karbala. The greatest sacrifice at Karbala teaches me to place the will upon Allah before everything else. And the beheading of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in sajda tells us to never give up prayer and to always believe in Allah even in the hardest circumstances. From Janab Zainab's word, I saw nothing but beauty. I learned to trust Allah's plan in every situation and believe that He has a purpose behind every test. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, Islam is in Karbala and Islam is through Karbala. Mullah Imam Hussein alayhi salam showed who were truly Muslim and believed in Allah, and those who claimed they were Muslim but were really just Yazid's army. Sajda Hussein in Karbala teaches me that a head may be sacrificed but should never bow before evil. And Goodbye Janab Zainab teaches me that a voice should never be silent when standing with truth. Labbaik Ya Hussein, Salawat.
Next contestant, Muhammad Ayan Irfan.
Assalamu alaikum.
A little louder. A little louder, okay? Your time starts now.
Okay, today I'm going to explain what Karbala means to me. Karbala means a lot to me because it reminds me to always stand up for what is right, even when it's hard. When I think about Imam Hussein alayhi salam, I think about someone who never gave up on the truth. No matter how difficult things became, his courage inspires me to be brave, honest, and strong in my own life. Karbala also teaches me to be patient, to care about other people, and to never lose my faith. Whenever I hear the story of Karbala, it reminds me that doing the right thing is more important than doing the easy thing. Thank you.
Okay, so after Muhammad Ayan Irfan, now the next contestant is Sakina Baz is not here, so the next one is Zahra. Contestant number 9, Zahra.
Salam.
Your time starts now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم Guide us along the straight path. Surah Fatiha verse 6. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected judges, parents, and my dear friends, my name is Zahra. Every single day when we pray, we ask Allah to guide us to the straight path.
But have you ever wondered what that path looks like? To me, that path is Karbala. When I hear the name of Imam Hussein, I don't just remember a battle that happened over 1,200 years ago. I remember a family who chose Allah over everything else. I remember a family who stood for the truth when it was easier to stay silent. Sometimes I close my eyes and I remember the children of Karbala. I imagine how thirsty they must have been, how frightened they must have felt, how much they must have missed their fathers. I cannot even imagine going one day without water or the comfort of my family. It makes me realize how blessed I am, and it teaches me to thank Allah for every single blessing that I have. The person who inspires me the most is Bibi Zainab. She lost so much, yet she never lost her faith. She cried, but she never gave up. She was heartbroken, but she still stood with courage and spoke the truth. After everything that happened in Karbala, Bibi Zainab said, "Ma ra'aytu illa jamila." I saw nothing but beauty. When I first heard those words, I wondered, how could she say that after everything she'd been through? But then I realized that Bibi Zainab was not saying that suffering was beautiful. She was saying that obeying Allah, standing with the truth, and sacrificing for the truth was beautiful in the eyes of Allah. Whenever I face something difficult, I remember her words. They remind me to trust Allah, to be patient, and to look for the good even during hard times. One of the greatest blessings in my life is wearing my hijab. To some people, it may just look like a piece of cloth, but to me, it's a crown of honor. Every morning when I put on my hijab, I remember Bibi Zainab. I remember her dignity, her courage, the sacrifices she made. My hijab reminds me to be a kind, respectful, humble, and proud Muslim just like her. Karbala has taught me that being a follower of Imam Hussein is not just about crying during Muharram. It is about living his message every single day. It is about telling the truth even when it's difficult. It is about standing up for someone who's being treated unfairly. It is about helping others, respecting our parents and teachers, forgiving people, and choosing kindness even when no one is watching. When I cry for Imam Hussein, the tears that I cry aren't just tears of sadness. They are tears of love. I wish I could have stood beside him and say, "Ya Hussein, I will never leave you." Although I wasn't there in Karbala, I can still answer his call today. I answer every time I choose honesty over lying. Every time I wear my hijab with pride. Every time I help someone. Every time I pray. Every time I choose what is right instead of what is easy. My promise to Imam Hussein is simple. I promise to always try my best, to have a heart full of kindness, lips that speak the truth, hands that help others, and a face that stays strong no matter what challenges come my way. To me, Karbala is not just history. It is hope. It is courage. It is love. It is faith. It is the light that guides me every single day. Now let's raise our hands and make dua. I pray that Allah grants us hearts like Imam Hussein, courage like Bibi Zainab, loyalty like Hazrat Abbas, and sincerity like the companions of Karbala. Because if we can live our lives with even a small part of their character, then we will be walking on the straight path that we ask Allah for every single day. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Read a very loud salawat. The next contestant would be Zarwa Ali. Zarwa Ali. With the, okay. Ready? Your time starts now.
What Karbala means to me, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Zarwa Ali. Today I wanted to share what Karbala means to me. A few years ago, we went on a journey to Karbala during Ashura. I was little, didn't know where I was, but now I know Karbala was not just a place where people go to Imam Hassan Shari. It was a place where truth won. It had taught me to always stand with truth, like Imam Hassan, what is right. Imam Hassan loved Allah so much that he never gave up even when life became very difficult. He showed us that doing the right thing is always very important, even if it costs your life. When I hear about baby Sakina and Ali Asghar alayhi salam, I remember how precious the water is. Karbala also taught me to be kind, brave, honest, and respectful. Karbala also taught me how important our Imams is. Imam Hassan had fulfilled his duty, stayed on the right path, taught like a lion, and at the end he did his best sajda to thank and praise Allah. Karbala teaches us every day till today that stay calm, stay with the truth, believe in Allah and Allah's plan. My prayer is that Allah help all of us to become a good Muslim and a good person who follow the beautiful example of Imam Hassan. Thank you. Please recite loud salawat for Al-Bayt.
The next contestant, number 11, Farah Ali is not here, so you may move on. The contestant number 12 is Mariam Abbas Naqvi. Right? So, contestant number 12, Mariam Abbas Naqvi. Mariam, just check the mic first. Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my dear Azadars. Today, I will tell you about the Battle of Karbala and how it is not just a battle that we mourn for every year. Today, I would like to share what Karbala really means to me and how it continues to inspire me in my daily life. When we hear the word Karbala, we remember the tragedy that took place on the 10th of Muharram when Imam Hussein, his companions, and his family stood against extreme injustice. Although they were a small group facing a much larger army, they still refused to leave the path of truth. Karbala teaches us the true meaning of sacrifice. And one of my biggest role models from the Battle of Karbala was Hazrat Qasim alayhi salam. When I first heard his famous words to his uncle Imam Hussein, he said that death is sweeter than honey. When I first heard this, I thought he meant what he literally meant, that death is sweeter than honey. However, when I thought deeper and learned more, I realized that that was not what he meant. He meant that sacrificing his life for Imam Hussein and protecting the truth was sweeter than almost anything in this world. Hearing this made me ask myself an important question. Do I have the level of courage to sacrifice my life for Imam Hussein? Well, many people say that they love Imam Hussein. But true love is not only shown through words, it can be shown through sacrifice. Of course, today we cannot go to the battlefield and sacrifice our lives for Imam Hussein. But Karbala teaches us that we can still make small sacrifices that can still make Imam Hussein happy. For example, we can sacrifice our comfort and our desires to pray namaz and Abdul Waqt on its time. These show, even though these are small sacrifices, they show our love and dedication for the path of Imam Hussein. The Quran says in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 207, "And among the people is the one who sells his soul, seeking the pleasure of Allah." This verse connects deeply to the people of Karbala, because the companions of Imam Hussein did everything they could for the sake of Allah and protecting the truth. The lesson of true love also reminds me of the people of Kufa. They sent thousands of letters to Imam Hussein asking for his leadership. However, when the time came to support him, they turned away on him because they were not willing to make the sacrifice that true love required. The story teaches us that saying we love someone is easy, but proving that love requires real action. Thinking about Kufa makes me want to ask myself another question. When the Imam of our time needs us, will we be like the people of Kufa? Or will we be like the loyal companions of Imam Hussein, who stayed loyal even during the hardest moments. As there's a hadith from Imam Jafar al-Sadiq that there will be 313 companions of Imam Mahdi, by which inshallah we will be part of the army who will serve our Imam. May Allah hasten his appearance. To conclude my speech, I would like to end with Dua al-Greek. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Allahu, Ya Rahmanu, Ya Rahimu, Ya Muqallib Qalubi, Sabbit Qalbi ala Dinaka. Thank you.
Now the next contestant, number 13, Muhammad Ahmad Ali. Muhammad Ahmad Ali.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. When I think of Karbala, I don't just think of a historical event. I think of a timeless lesson about courage, faith, sacrifice, and standing for what is right, even when the odds seem impossible. Karbala is more than a place or a battle. It is a reminder that our values are worth defending, no matter the cost. To me, Karbala represents the ultimate stand against oppression. Imam Hussein alayhi salam was left with a very tough decision: either pledge allegiance to a corrupt leader, or stand firm and face destruction. Karbala teaches you and me that speaking truth to power, even while standing alone, is the ultimate measure of a person's character. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his family, and his dearest companions gave up everything: their comfort, their water, their homes, and most importantly, their lives. This is the true meaning of selflessness. It also reminds me to ask myself this question: what am I willing to give up for the greater good? Even in the darkest moments, Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his companions never gave up their faith in Allah, nor did they lose their patience, morality, or devotion. Even today, Karbala is going on. We all know who the Yazids of our time are. And because of them, we continue to see people who face oppression, war, and injustice, but those people still yet refuse to give up their dignity nor respect. The corrupt leaders hold governments which torture people for speaking the truth, oppress people because of their religion, faith, or traditions. Those people never lose their faith and never will. Karbala reminds me of standing with justice, defending those who were oppressed, and remembering how Imam Hussein's martyrdom did not end his mission, but spread it across the whole entire world. Surah Baqarah, ayat number 154, Allah states, وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلُ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتٍ بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ وَلَكِنْ لَا تَشْعُرُونَ. And do not say about those who are killed in the way of Allah, they are dead. Rather, they are alive, but you perceive it not. When I faced personal trials and tribulations, Karbala serves as my anchor. It teaches me that true strength is not the ability of fighting back physically, but it's the ability to stand strong, even if everything around you is falling apart. It reminds me that every one of us in this world has a capacity to be a force of justice in this world. Just like in 650 CE, Imam Hussein alayhi salam sacrificed himself to preserve Islam. In the same way, the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi Ajalullah Ta'ala Farajah Sharif, will reappear after Ghaiba to fully implement and spread justice throughout the world. Now comes our responsibility, which is to assist Imam, and our oath is stated in Dua Ahad. I'm going to recite the translation of a few lines. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. O Allah, please do make of his supporters, sponsors, defenders, and those who hurry in carrying out his instructions, those who uphold him, and those who precede others to implementing his will, and those who will be martyred before him. O Allah, if death that you have made certainly incumbent upon your servants stands between me and him, please do take me out of my grave using my shroud as a dress, unsheathing my sword, holding my lance in my hand, and responding to the call of the caller, who shall announce his advent in urban areas and deserts. Karbala may have just been a battle of 72, but today it is a message for billions of people. To conclude, I would like to say a few words of dua. O Allah, relieve this world against oppression. O Allah, make the reappearance of Imam Mahdi faster and make us his defenders and supporters. Sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad.
The next contestant would be Abbas Chaudhry. Abbas Chaudhry. Just hold closer and say salam so that we can check your voice.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody.
Speak louder. So, Abbas Chaudhry, time starts now.
Today my topic is Karbala.
Louder.
What Karbala means to me. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Karbala is not just a moment in history to me. It is a powerful lesson about faith, courage, patience, and standing up for what is right. The story of Karbala has been remembered for generations because it carries important messages that still connect with people today. It teaches me that a person's principles and values are worth protecting even when facing difficult situations. The events of Karbala show the importance of bravery and determination. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood for justice and refused to support something he believed was wrong. His actions remind me that doing the right thing can sometimes require sacrifice and strength. Karbala teaches me that success is not only about winning, it is also about remaining truthful and honorable. To me, Karbala represents sacrifice, loyalty, and faith. It reminds me of the importance of staying patient during challenges and not giving up when things become difficult. The people of Karbala showed incredible dedication to their beliefs, and their example inspires me to become a better person. Their story encourages me to be honest, respectful, and to think about how my actions affect others. Karbala also teaches me the value of helping others and caring about justice. It shows that standing against unfairness and supporting what is right can leave a lasting impact. Even though the events happened many years ago, the lessons from Karbala continue to guide people today. The message is still alive because it speaks about qualities that matter in every time period. Another thing Karbala means to me is a reminder to have a strong character. It teaches me that a person should not only focus on themselves, but should also care about their community and the people around them. The story inspires me to be more patient, grateful, and responsible in my own life. Overall, Karbala means courage, faith, and commitment to the truth. It is a reminder that even in the face of hardship, people can choose to stand for their beliefs. The lesson of Karbala continue to inspire me to improve myself, make better choices, and always try to do what is right.
Unfortunately, there were two students who were not here, but they have arrived. So what judges said, can we call them? Yeah, okay. So Sakina Bas, contestant number 8. Sakina Bas. Now, we are asking a lot from our judges because they have to go back. Sakina Bas, contestant number 8.
Welcome,
Please read a very loud salawat, everyone.
Welcome,
Your time starts now.
welcome, everyone. My name is Sakina, and today I want to tell you what Karbala means to me. When I first learned about Karbala, I wondered why Imam Hussein sacrificed his life. I asked myself, why didn't he just bow down to Yazid and save himself and his family? As I learned more, I understood something very important. Imam Hussein taught us that doing the right thing is more important than doing the easy thing. Sometimes the right choice is hard, but it's the choice that brings us closer to Allah. One lesson that touches my heart the most is about Salah. Even on the day of Asra, when Imam Hussein his friends were surrounded by enemies, they did not forget their prayers. They stopped to pray because they knew that nothing was important than remembering Allah. Sometimes I don't feel like playing. Sometimes I want to playing, watch TV or doing sometimes fun is sad. But then I remember Imam Hussein. If he could play during the hardest moment of his life, then I can play when I'm safe and comfortable at home. Karbala reminds me to be brave, to tell the truth and stand up what is right, and is to always trust Allah. It teaches me that faith is not only about words, it's about our action, even when they're difficult. Every time I hear the story of Karbala, I remember the sacrifice Imam Hussein and his family made to protect Islam. They me to become a better Muslim, a kinder person, and a better daughter, sister, and a friend. That is what Karbala means to me. Thank you.
Now, another contestant, she was not here, so I'm calling her. She's Farah Ali, contestant number 11, Farah Ali. Farah, wait, they are sitting there. So when you're ready, Jaris, then I'll listen. Farah Ali, she was like back. She was not here before. Oh, yeah, contestant number 11, Farah Ali. Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. What would you do if standing up for what's right meant standing completely alone? That is the question Karbala asks each and every one of us. To me, Karbala isn't just a story from history or an event that happened more than 1,300 years ago. It's a timeless lesson about courage, faith, sacrifice, and staying true to your values. It reminds me that real success isn't measured by power, wealth, or popularity. It's measured by having the courage to do what's right, even when it's difficult. When I think of Imam Hussein, I don't just think of his sacrifice. I think of his unwavering commitment to truth. He could have chosen the easier path. He could have stayed silent to protect himself and his family, but instead he chose justice over oppression, truth over falsehood, and faith over fear. His example teaches me that there are moments in life when doing what's right is far more important than doing what's easy. While I may never face challenges like those of Karbala, I do face choices every day that test my character. At school, I might see someone being left out or treated unfairly. It's often easier to stay quiet and avoid getting involved, but Karbala reminds me that staying silent can allow injustice to continue. It encourages me to speak up with kindness, even if my voice is the only one. Karbala also teaches me the importance of honesty. Today, it's easy to go along with the crowd, tell a small lie, or give up what we believe in just to fit in. Whenever I'm faced with a choice between what's easy and what's right, I think about Karbala. It reminds me that my choices shape the person I become and that true character is revealed by what we do when no one is watching. Another lesson that inspires me is compassion. Even in the face of unimaginable hardship, Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his family showed patience, dignity, and mercy. They never allowed their suffering to take away their humanity. That inspires me to be grateful for what I have, to help those in need, to respect my parents and teachers, and to treat everyone with kindness and empathy. These may seem like small actions, but they are the ways I can carry the spirit of Karbala into my own life. During Muharram, I don't just remember the tragedy of Karbala. I reflect on its message. I ask myself, am I honest when no one is watching? Do I stand up for someone who's being treated unfairly? Do I live by my values or only when it's convenient? Every day I'm faced with choices between truth and falsehood, courage and fear, selfishness and compassion. Every place I go, my school, my home, and my community is my own Karbala, where I have the chance to live by the values that Imam Hussein stood for. In a world where it's often easier to follow the crowd, Karbala teaches me to stand for what's right. In a world where kindness is sometimes forgotten, it reminds me to show compassion. And in a world that's constantly changing, it reminds me that values like honesty, justice, and integrity never go out of date. So when someone asks me what Karbala means to me, my answer is simple. Karbala is my reminder that one person's courage can inspire generations. It teaches me that every choice I make matters, and that every day I have the opportunity to stand for truth, show compassion, and live it with integrity. Salawat.
So first time you all have heard the bell ring, that will exact 5 minutes. Before calling another contestant, I just need to say one thing. In this hall, you see, hall is full. Not only the adults, but the students are also here with the very young kids as well. It's so impressive. Please read a very loud salawat for all of you, for yourself. The way you are listening, because I know these students, they know very well how to participate in different contests, but you need to clap, talk, but the way you all are listening, that's also commendable. And that's obviously the credit goes to our very young participants. So the next participant is Fatima Kubra.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Just wait for a second. All right, so Fatma, your time starts now.
Today I would like to share what Karbala means to me. When I hear the word Karbala, when people hear the word Karbala, they often think of a battle that happened over 1400 years ago. But to me, Karbala is more than just a historical event. It is a lesson that I try to carry with me every single day. To me, Karbala means bravery, honesty, justice, patience, and standing up for what is right, even when it is difficult. Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood against injustice. He knew he was greatly outnumbered, but he still chose to stand for the truth instead of seeking worldly power. He taught us that doing the right thing is more important than being popular or successful in the eyes of the world. One way Karbala has personally inspired me is through wearing my hijab. When I first started wearing hijab, I was nervous. I worried that people at school would ask me questions or make fun of me. At first I felt really nervous, but then I remembered the lessons of Karbala. I thought about how if I believe I am doing the right thing for Allah, I should not let fear stop me. Karbala reminds me that I should always try to please Allah and follow the example of the Ahlul Bayt, even when it is not easy. That gives me confidence to keep going. Karbala also teaches me how to be brave for other people, not just for myself. When I think about the women of Karbala, especially Lady Zainab, I am amazed by her strength. After everything she went through, after losing so many loved ones and being taken captive, she still stood up against Yazid with incredible courage. When Yazid mockingly asked her what she thought of what happened to her family, she replied, "I saw nothing but beauty." Those words have always stayed with me. She She wasn't saying that suffering was easy. She meant that she could see Allah's greater purpose behind their sacrifice. She knew that Imam Hussein's stand for the truth would inspire generations of people to be brave, honest, and faithful. Her courage reminds me that even during the hardest times, we should never lose our trust in Allah. There was another experience that made me think about what Karbala means. A few months ago, one of my classmates invited me to a party, but it was during Muharram, so I politely had to say no. And she asked me why I had to say no, so I had to explain the history of Karbala and why we mourn. She looked surprised and asked me that happened 1400 years ago. Why are you still mourning? Her question really made me think. My answer was that we do not remember Karbala just to be sad. We remember it because its lessons are timeless. In conclusion, Karbala reminds me that one person can make a difference by standing for what is right. It reminds me that success is not measured by power or wealth, but by faith, integrity, and courage. I hope that as I grow older, I can continue to carry the lessons of Karbala with me and try to live by them every day. Salawat.
The next contestant is Haram Irfan. Haram Irfan.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Okay.
Your time starts now.
When someone asks me, what does Karbala mean to you? I don't think of it as just a place or an event that happened long ago. To me, Karbala is a timeless message. It reminds me that truth is always worth standing for, even when the path is filled with obstacles. It teaches us that faith, patience, and courage are more valuable than comfort or success in this world. Karbala is the story of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the beloved grandson of our holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was asked to accept injustice, but instead he chose to stand for truth. He knew the journey ahead would be filled with hardship, yet his faith in Allah never weakened. When I think about Karbala, I remember the story of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. His family and his loyal companions were surrounded by a large army and were prevented from reaching water for days under the burning desert sun. Even the youngest members of his family suffered. One of the moments that touches my heart the most is remembering the six-month-old Ali Asghar alayhi salam, who was brought forward in hope that he'd get water, but instead was struck by a bow and arrow. Even in those unimaginable circumstances, Imam Hussein alayhi salam never gave up his trust in Allah. His sacrifice was never about power or victory in this world. It was about protecting the truth and preserving the values of Islam for generations to come. Sometimes people ask, if Imam Hussein alayhi salam knew what would happen, why did he continue? He continued because some values were sacrificing everything for truth, justice, faith, and obedience to Allah. Whenever I reflect on Karbala, I don't only feel sadness, I feel tremendously inspired. And I feel grateful that Allah blessed us with such remarkable role models. Karbala teaches me that real strength is not physical power. Real strength is staying honest when lying would be so much more easier. It is showing kindness when others are unkind. It is choosing the right path, even when you have to walk it alone. As a young Muslim growing up today, I know I may never face the trials that Imam Hussein alayhi salam faced, but every single day, I still have choices. I can choose honesty instead of lying. I can choose kindness instead of hurting someone's feelings. I can choose courage instead of following the crowd. To me, that is how I can live the message of Karbala. So whenever I face obstacles at school with friends or in everyday life, I remember that the family of Imam Hussein alayhi salam remained patient through trials far greater than I could ever imagine. If they could place their complete trust in Allah during such difficult moments, then I can trust Allah through my own struggles too. Karbala is not only about remembering the past, it is about changing the future. It reminds me to speak the truth, to stand up against injustice, to treat others with compassion, to strengthen my relationship with Allah, and to become the best version of myself. So when someone asks me, what does Karbala mean to you? Karbala means truth, sacrifice, courage, faith, because some values are worth sacrificing every for, no. Karbala also means unwavering faith in Allah. But above all of that, Karbala reminds me that one person standing firmly for what is right can inspire millions of people for generations. That is what Karbala means to me. Jazakallah.
The next contestant is Raina Ali. Raina Ali. Time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum ya Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. Assalamu alaikum, my dear brothers and sisters and respected judges. Today as we gather on this blessed first Azah, we're not just remembering history, we're remembering a sacrifice that changed the world forever. Today I want to share what Karbala really means to me. On the 10th of Muharram, Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, stood in Karbala. He refused to accept Yazid because he knew that truth could never stand with evil. He chose sacrifice over surrender. To me, this is what Karbala is all about. It teaches me that doing the right thing is not always easy, but it is always worth it. When I think of Karbala, I cannot forget the thirst of the children. Deen didn't keep yas. Little baby Sakina waited for her husband Abbas to bring water. He reached the river but did not drink, thinking only of the thirsty children. On his way back, an arrow pierced the Mosque and the water spilled onto the sands of Karbala. His story teaches me loyalty, selflessness, and to always put others before myself. At the end, Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood alone. Even after losing everyone he loved, he never lost faith in Allah. And his final sajda reminds me to trust Allah no matter how difficult life becomes. Alhamdulillah, I was blessed with the opportunity to visit Karbala every year since I was 5. Standing at the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Standing at the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam made me realize that Karbala is not just a place, it is a way of life. It inspires me to be honest, patient, kind, and always stand for the truth. In conclusion, Karbala is the light that guides my life. Every time I remember Imam Hussein alayhi salam, I want to become a better Muslim and a better person. Thank you so much. Jazakallah.
Now, as Dr. Firdaus was saying, please read a very loud salawat because she's been visiting Karbala since she was 5. Please read a very loud salawat. Okay. Now, the next contestant is Sayyid Muhammad Shah. Sayyid Muhammad Shazil Shah. Right? Sayyid Muhammad Shazil Shah. Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Sayyid Muhammad Shah, and today I want to talk about what Karbala means to me. Karbala is not just a story from the past, it is a lesson about courage, sacrifice, and standing for truth, no matter the cost. Imam Hussein alayhi salam did not go to Karbala alone. His son Ali Akbar, who looked just like the Prophet, peace be upon him, gave his life for truth while still a young man. His baby son, Ali Asghar, only 6 months old, was not spared either, and his small daughter, Bibi Sakina, suffered thirst and fear, yet her family's faith never broke. Even today, in many parts of the world, innocent people suffer because of injustice and oppression. When I see families in Gaza, Iran, and Kashmir losing their loved ones, children going hungry, or people being sent to silence for speaking the truth, I think of Karbala. Imam Hussein teaches me that we cannot stay silent when we see wrong being done, and that we must always stand with the weak and the suffering. That is what Karbala teaches me. Real courage means standing for what is right, even when it costs you everything. We must never look away from injustice, whether it happened centuries ago or is happening right now. Every sacrifice at Karbala reminds us to protect the innocent and speak up for the voiceless. Every year when we remember Karbala, we remember not just sadness, but strength and responsibility to carry Imam Hussein's message of justice into our own time. Thank you.
The So, as you all know, that there were categories of the students according to the age. So, the first category was from 7 to 12. So, he's the last contestant of that category. After that, we'll have 5 minutes break. But you all know that we are running really, really fast. So 5 minutes mean 5 minutes because our judges also need at least a cup of tea. So 5 minutes break, but after Zaki, and then right after 5 minutes, we'll jump into the second category, ages 13 to 17. Okay? You can check the mic first.
Testing, so.
Right, so contestant number, mashallah, the turnout is so huge. Contestant number 19, Zaki Sheikh. Zaki Sheikh, right? Sister Sabah, we ready? Okay. Okay. Zaki Sheikh, time starts now.
My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Question: what would you do if you had to choose between doing what is right and staying safe? Think about that for a second. Would you stand up for the truth even if you had to stand alone? That is exactly what Imam Hussein did. To me, Karbala is not just a story from history. It is a lesson that never gets old. It teaches us that truth is always more valuable than power, and that standing up for justice is worth every sacrifice. More than 1400 years ago, Imam al-Hussein and his small group of family members and companions faced a huge army. They were thirsty, they were outnumbered, they knew that they would be killed, but Imam al-Hussein refused to give up his values. He said no to injustice because he wanted to protect the true message of Islam. He did not fight because he wanted power. He fought because he wanted people to know that Islam stands for justice, mercy, honesty, and dignity. His sacrifice saved those values from being forgotten. Now, I'd like everyone here to take a moment and think. Can you see any similarities between the events of Karbala and some of the events we see in the world today, especially involving Iran and the United States? Even today, we still see people suffering because of war, violence, and injustice. Around the world, including in places like Iran, many families have experienced fear, loss of the innocent, and hardship because of conflict. We also see disagreements and tension between countries, including Iran and the United States. No matter which side people are from, innocent families often suffer the most. Karbala reminds us that we should never become silent, and that when we see injustice or innocent people being harmed, when I think of Karbala, I don't only think about bravery on a battlefield. I think about courage in everyday life. When someone is being bullied, Karbala tells me to stand with them. When everyone is doing something wrong, Karbala tells me to choose what is right. When telling the truth is difficult, Karbala reminds me that the truth is always worth defending. Imam al-Hussein shows us that one person with truth can be stronger than thousands with power. His sister Bibi Zainab also showed incredible courage. After the tragedy of Karbala, she spoke fearlessly and made sure that people would never forget what happened. Because of her strength, the message of Karbala is still alive today. Karbala teaches me that being a Muslim is not only about praying and fasting, it is also about standing for justice, helping others, showing kindness, and refusing to support oppression. So what does Karbala mean to me? It means courage when I am afraid. It means hope when life is difficult. It means standing for justice even if I stand alone. And most importantly, it means remembering that one person's sacrifice can inspire millions for generations. Imam Hussein gave everything so that the truth would never die. The least we can do is live by the values he gave his life to protect. Karbala ki zameen se ye sada aati hai, Karbala ki zameen se ye sada aati hai, haq ke liye jo jale, wahi roshni ban jati hai. Do you know what that shairi means? It means that from the land of Karbala comes a message that anyone who sacrifices for the truth and stands up for what is right becomes a source of light for others. In other words, when someone fights for justice, their sacrifice never goes to waste. It shines and inspires people for generations. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please read a very loud salawat. So, by this, 19 contestants are done. First category is done now, so we'll have 5 minutes break. But as I said, 5 minutes means 5 minutes because we have to finish before Zuhr. Please help yourself, or our organizers, they're helping you. So it's 11:20, 11:25, we'll start. Okay, we are starting in a minute. Can you close the door from the back? Thank you. If anyone is out, we are starting in a minute. The senior category. Please read a very loud salawat. So now, as I said, we are starting the second category. The age group was 13 to 17. And mashallah, we have, in this one, 12 contestants. So, you don't need to come, just wait, give me one more minute. Okay, so overall, he's contestant number 20, Muhammad Amir Ali. Please read a very loud salawat.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Are you people ready?
When I think about
Now, your time starts now.
When I think about Karbala, I don't just think about something that happened a long time ago. I think about the lessons it teaches me and how I can use those lessons in my own life. To me, Karbala reminds me that doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it's always the right choice. Imam Hussein alayhi salam had the chance to take the easier path, but he chose to stand up for truth and justice. That inspires me to try to make the right choices every day. I know I won't face the same challenges that Imam Hussein alayhi salam did, but I still have decisions to make. Karbala reminds me to be honest, be kind to others, and help people whenever I can. It also teaches me to never follow the wrong. Another lesson I learned from Karbala is to be brave. Being brave doesn't always mean doing something big. Sometimes it means telling the truth, doing what's right even when no one is watching, or staying true to your values, even if other people don't agree. Those small choices can make a big difference. Karbala also teaches me to be patient and trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Life isn't always easy, but the story of Karbala reminds me to stay strong, keep my faith, and never lose hope. For me, Karbala is more than just history. It is a reminder of how I want to live my life. If I can be more honest, kind, brave, and patient every day, then I know I am following the example of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. That is why Karbala means so much to me. Thank you.
The next contestant, Nooria Mustafa. Nooria Mustafa.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Noria Mustafa. The topic of my discussion today will be what Karbala means to me. My understanding of Karbala resonates deeply with the words Karbala mulk nahi, qaum nahi, shair nahi, Karbala chashma irfan hai, fakat nehar nahi, Karbala jabr nahi, zulm nahi, कहर नहीं, करबला फ़िरका पराशी की कोई लहर नहीं, करबला धैर्य में हर दीन की सरताज हुई, अर्श वाले को इसी फर्श पे मेराज हुई, इस बुलंदी से है तारीख़ उमंग भी बाकी, ज़िक्र बाकी है, तो हर दीदे इनाम भी बाकी, शुहदा आज भी बाकी है, अलम भी बाकी, है मोहम्मद की जवानी का हशम भी बाकी, दामने ए फ़िक्र में बुग़्ज़ अली बुनते हैं, लोग फिर भी अली अकबर की अज़ा सुनते हैं. For me, Karbala is not just an event I remember. It is a message I try to live by every day. Imam Hussein alayhi salam teaches me to have the courage to stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult or when I stand alone. Mola Abbas alayhi salam reminds me to be loyal to the truth and commitments. Hazrat Her alayhi salam teaches me that every moment is an opportunity to make the right choice and improve myself. From Hazrat Habib alayhi salam to Mola Ali Asghar alayhi salam, each sacrifice in Karbala reminds me there is responsibility towards justice, kindness, and goodness, regardless of my age. From Bibi Zainab and Bibi Sakina, I learned to face challenges with patience, strength, and dignity. In my own life, these lessons inspire me to be a better Muslim, a better student, and a kinder friend, as well as a responsible member of my community. They remind me to speak the truth, help others, remain patient during difficulties, and always choose what is right over what is easy. Karbala is a chashma-e-irfan, a foundation of understanding and wisdom. The message of Karbala is not just limited to a particular person, time, or community. It is a universal message of humanity, justice, and compassion. It is a guide for the present and a lesson for the future, a reminder that the light of truth can never be extinguished. To conclude, Karbala teaches me about courage, sacrifice, and faith for standing up to justice. The sacrifice of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, his family, and his companions show that it is better to stand up for the truth than give in an oppression, even when facing overwhelming challenges. Their bravery will always continue to not only inspire me, but millions around the world. This speech is not just a reminder about courage and faith. It's also a reminder about treating others with kindness and fairness, as well as to stay loyal to my commitments and belief. लाखों ले आते हैं ईमान सिपरे जान के लिए जान लाखों में देते हैं कोई ईमान के लिए. Thank you, Labekia Hussein.
Read aloud, Salawat. Contestant number 22, Sareen Mirza. So, your time starts. Your time starts now.
Salam to everyone here. My name is Serene. Today I'm not just going to recite a story you already know. I want to tell you why Karbala isn't just history to me. It's happening right now all around us, and I think if we're honest, we all know it. Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood against a ruler who had armies, money, and control over an entire empire. He had none of that. What he had was the truth, and he chose the truth, knowing exactly what it would cost him. That is every time in history when someone with everything to lose stands up against someone with all the power and refuses to bow. Doesn't that sound familiar? There are still people in power who silence the truth because it threatens them.
There is still injustice wearing new clothes but carrying the same old cruelty. I think of the people of Palestine, families holding onto their homes and their dignity even under siege, even when the world watches and looks away. I think of the people of Iran, ordinary families who have endured years of hardship and still hold their heads up, still hope, still refuse to let hardship take their faith. I don't know all the politics, I'm 13, and I know sabr when I see it, and I believe this is the same sabr the family of Imam Hussein salam taught the world at Karbala. It didn't die in the desert. It lives in every family today who refuses to let injustice steal their faith. Sakina was just 4 years old when she lost her father, her home, her safety in a single day, and still she held on to her dignity. That tells me being young doesn't mean being powerless. It means I get to decide right now whether I look away or remember, speak, and refuse to be silent. Then there is Ghazi Abbas alayhi salam. He rode alone to the river and cut through an army and filled the mashkiza for the children, for Sakina, for the camp he loved. And with water finally in his hand, he remembered his brother and the children were still thirsty, and he chose not to drink, not one drop. Real loyalty isn't tested when things are easy. It's tested in the exact moment when taking relief for yourself would cost no one but your own integrity. Abbas alayhi salam chose sacrifice instead. That is the loyalty I pray and carry. And Bibi Zainab alayhi salam stood in the court of the very people who destroyed her family and spoke the truth to their faces, knowing they had all the power to hurt her. That is courage, not the absence of fear, but choosing truth in spite of it. Sometimes I ask myself, why did Allah let Karbala happen? And I think the answer isn't about why, it's about what it teaches. That truth doesn't need numbers to be right. That dignity is not something an oppressor can take from you unless you let them. A sabr is the quietest, strongest form of resistance there is. So when people ask me what Karbala means to me, I answer with a question I ask myself every day. When I see injustice, will I be silent or will I be Zainab? When truth is inconvenient, will I hide or will I be Hussein? And when I have something to gain at someone else's expense, will I take it or will I be a boss and put others first? Karbala is a mirror held up to every unjust system, every silenced voice, every innocent person still suffering while the powerful look away. And it is a mirror held up to me too. I'm only 13, but I am not too young to remember, I am not too young to care, and I am not too young to promise that when I see the same tyranny Karbala warned us about, wherever it shows up in this world, I will not stay silent. Labbaik ya Hussein.
Please read a very loud salawat. Contestant number 23, Sayyid Hussain. Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. To me, Karbala is just not another battle. It's a message for future generations. It's something we're supposed to always remember in our life. Over 1,300 years ago, Imam Hussein, grandson of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had to fight in the Battle of Karbala. Even though he knew he was outnumbered, he still chose to fight against Yazid and his army because he knew what Yazid was doing was incorrect and wrong. He chose faith and the truth instead of an easy path. My main takeaway from Karbala is courage. Imam Hussein showed us that courage isn't about not having any fear, it's about standing up to what's right even when it's difficult. As a teenager, I may not face the same challenges that Imam Hussein has ever faced, but the message that he brought, I could still use it on my daily life. An example is, I could stand up for others, I could admit when I'm wrong, and I could choose the right choices even when others don't. Another takeaway I take from Karbala is faith. Whenever I think about Karbala, I'm amazed of how much faith Imam Hussein had in Allah, and he stood on Islam even at the most difficult times. From what I took from that is, I should always depend on Allah even at my worstest moments. Even when I think He's not my friend, He always will be. Another thing I took away from Karbala is loyalty. Imam Hussein and his companions were always loyal till the very end. They made sure that they never left each other's side. From this, I took away that I should always be loyal to my family, my friends, and especially my faith. Whenever I think about Karbala, I become very sad because of all the sacrifices that Imam Hussein and his family has made. But also I become very grateful, because if it wasn't for Imam Hussein to stand up to Yazid, the message of Karbala wouldn't reach us, like my generation. The message of Karbala continued through Lady Zainab and Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam. They made sure that the message was never forgotten. To me, Karbala is not just another battle. It's a message for future generations, every Muslim should keep in mind. Thank you.
Again, I have no words, not only for the contestants, our judges, but the listeners. The audience, excellent. I cannot say anything. Please read a very loud salawat. Because it's not easy to speak in front of a lot of people, but that's your support that you all are giving to our contestants. Okay, so contestant number 24, Jahani Abidi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ready?
Can I just put it here?
Yeah. Your time starts now.
तारीख दे रही है ये आवाज़ दम बदम दश्ते बलाओ गम दश्ते सवातो अज़म है दश्ते बलाओ गम सब्रे मसीहो जुर्रत सुकरात की कसम इस राह में है सिर्फ एक इंसान का कदम जिसकी रगों में आतिश बदरो हुनैन है उस सूरमा के इसम गिरामी हुसैन है. History remembers many battles. Some were fought for land, power, kingdoms, yet one battle was very different. On the 10th of Muharram, 61 Hijri, on the plains of Karbala, Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood with approximately 72 loyal companions against an army numbering up to 30,000 soldiers. But Karbala was a stand to preserve truth and come back with the principles of Islam. But why does Karbala continue to have such an impact across generations despite being centuries old? Karbala teaches me that justice is worth standing for even if the cost is very great. Allah reminds us in the Holy Quran, O you who believe, be persistently standing firm for Allah, witnesses in justice, and do not let the hatred of people prevent you from being just. Be just, that is nearer to righteousness. This is Surah Maida, ayat number 8. So this verse teaches us that justice is not only important when it is easy, but also when it is difficult. It is important when everyone else is silenced, and it requires courage and patience and determination to do what is right. That is the mission of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. On the 28th of Rajab, Imam Hussein alayhi salam left Medina instead of taking allegiance with Yazid. When he was in Makkah, he told Muhammad ibn Hanafiya, I did not rise out of arrogance or corruption. I rose only to seek reform in the nation of my grandfather. I desire to enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. These words make it clear that Imam Hussein alayhi salam's mission was to bring back the values of Islam and refuse to remain silent against injustice and oppression. Imam Ali alayhi salam beautifully describes what it takes to be right person in the Najm al-Balagha, saying number 31. Faith stands on 4 supports: endurance, conviction, justice, and jihad. All of these were beautifully shown in Karbala. Endurance was shown as Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his companions took such hardships and did not speak of it. Conviction was shown because none of them ever doubted Allah and Allah's plan. Justice was the reason Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood against injustice. And jihad was every sacrifice made to keep the message of Islam going. But Karbala was not the sacrifice of just one person. Mullah Abbas had unwavering loyalty, and Janabi Zainab and Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam spoke sermons in Sham and Kufa to make sure that the message of Karbala would never be forgotten, and despite their hardships. Together they proved that when you speak the truth and when you speak for justice, Allah will always help you. Karbala reminds me that standing for justice does not always require something extraordinary. It begins with the choices we make as well. As students, we may never stand on a battlefield, but we do have choices between the right and the wrong. Some moments may seem small, but they do shape the person we become. And since we do have challenges in a classroom or a much larger stage, Karbala teaches us the same lesson. Always choose what is right. Sadly, injustice did not end in Karbala. Even today, across the globe, people face hardships and suffer due to wars, persecution, and oppression. We may not always be able to stand up and stop this injustice ourselves, but we should never, ever become indifferent to the suffering of others. Imam Hussain alayhi salam stood against injustice with his own life. If we cannot stand against injustice with our lives, we should at least have it in our hearts, speak about it, and never, ever become comfortable with wrongdoing. So when I think about Karbala, I don't simply remember a battle that happened centuries ago. I remember that justice is worth every sacrifice. And I remember that one person standing with unwavering conviction is more than enough to change the course of history. So what Karbala means to me is that every day I have a choice between what is easy and what is right. Imam Hussain alayhi salam taught me in Karbala that true success is not measured by victory in this world, but it is measured and seen by the faithful, how faithful you are to justice and your unwavering conviction. Thank you.
Next contestant, number 25, Sania Sheikh. Your time starts. Okay, your time starts now.
My dear elders, brothers and sisters in Islam, Salaam Alaikum. What does Karbala mean to us? Every year we cry the chants of Karbala and the cries for Hussein in every corner of the world. But why? What does it actually mean to me, to you, and to our everyday lives? Is Karbala just a historical event? Or is it a living, breathing guide for how we navigate the world today? To truly understand it, we have to break it down. Karbala is haqq. It is absolute truth. Karbala is the ultimate fight for justice. It is the refusal to bow down to oppression. And it is the choice to stand firmly on the path of freedom no matter the cost. All of this is Karbala. Did you know that every year more Muslims gather for Arba'in to commemorate the 40th day of the Shahada of Karbala than the number of Muslims who go for Hajj? Think about that for a second. Millions of people walk miles in unison, not out of a ritualistic obligation, but because the essence of Karbala pulls at their hearts. But it makes you wonder, why do we commemorate something that happened 1400 years ago? Did you ever ask yourself that question? Let me give you a personal perspective. I'm 14 years old. My mom is in her mid-30s and my grandma is in her 80s. If my grandmother leaves this world today, I will remember her and so will my mom. But will my future kids? Probably not. And the generations after them certainly won't know her. They will know me, but her memory will fade into history. That is the natural law of human memory. Yet, here we are, 1400 years later, weeping, remembering, and honoring the Shuhada who gave their lives on the burning sands of Karbala. Why does their memory defy the laws of time? Because Karbala isn't about the past, it is about the present. We face Karbala every day in our day-to-day challenges. Look at the world around us. Look at the conflicts, the wars, and the geopolitical tensions like those between Iran and Israel, where innocent lives are caught in the crossfire. The geopolitical landscape is a constant reminder that tyranny and injustice didn't die in 61 AH. The struggle between right and wrong is happening right now. Admitting this also means being honest about our personal struggles. I'll give you another real example. I come home from school, I'm absolutely exhausted from a long day of classes, and my mom says, "Get ready, we're going to a majlis." In that moment, if I'm being honest, I sometimes feel like I'm being forced. I just want to relax, I just came home. But then I stop and reflect. I realize the sheer magnitude of the sacrifices Imam Hussein and his family made, going days without water, standing against an army of thousands, sacrificing their lives so that the true spirit of Islam could live on. When I put it into that perspective, I realized that taking an hour out of my day to go to a majlis is the absolute least I can do. Why do you think we go to these majlises? What are we actually learning there? We aren't just going to cry, are we? We're going to learn how to be brave. We go to learn integrity, loyalty, and to stand up for what is right, even when we are tired, even when it's inconvenient, and even when we feel outnumbered. Karbala teaches us that justice is a daily choice. It is a choice we make in school, in our communities, and how we view global events. It reminds us that truth never expires. Therefore, the message remains alive, echoing through every century and every struggle. Every day is Ashura, and every land is Karbala. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now the next contestant is Ali Asghar Rizvi. Zain Ali is not here. Zain Ali is not here, so Ali Asghar Rizvi. Ready? Okay. Ali Asghar Rizvi, contestant number 27. Time starts now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I want to talk about what Karbala means to me. Allah says in Surah Al-Imran, ayat number 169, "And do not think of those who are killed in the way of Allah as dead. Rather, they are alive with their Lord, receiving provision." This verse reminds us that people who give their lives to Allah are honored by Him. When I hear this ayat, I think of Imam Hussein and the heroes of Karbala. To me, Karbala is not just a battle that happened 1,000 years ago. It is a lesson that teaches us how to live our lives. Every year, when Muharram comes, we remember Imam Hussein alayhi salam and his family. But remembering Karbala is not enough. We should also learn from it. Imam Hussein alayhi salam stood against injustice. He knew that Yazid was not following the teachings of Islam. Even though Imam Hussein alayhi salam had only a small group of companions, he never gave up. He chose truth over power and faith over fear. One of the biggest lessons of Karbala is courage. Courage does not mean that you are never afraid. It means doing the right thing even when it's difficult. Imam Hussein alayhi salam showed us that we should never stay silent when we see wrong. Another lesson is sacrifice. Imam Hussein alayhi salam gave up everything for Islam. His family, his companions, and even his 6-month-old son, Hazrat Ali Asghar alayhi salam. They were all sacrificed. They did not fight for money or power. They gave up everything so that the true masjid of Islam will remain alive. Karbala also teaches us about loyalty. Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam stayed loyal to Imam Hussein until his last breath. Even when he reached the river and was very thirsty, he did not drink because he remembered the thirsty children in the camp. His loyalty teaches us to care for others before ourselves. We also learn patience from Bibi Zainab alayhi salam. After the tragedy of Karbala, she remained strong and continued to spread the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Without her courage, many people would not know the true story of Karbala today. As a student, I asked myself, how can I follow the message of Karbala every day? I may not face a battlefield, but I face choices every day. I can tell the truth even when it's hard. I can respect my parents and teachers. I can pray on time, help others, and be kind to everybody. These are small ways of following the path of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The message of Karbala is for everyone, not just Muslims. It teaches us justice, honesty, kindness, and patience in Allah, and faith in Allah. These values can make our homes, schools, and communities a better place to live. To me, Karbala means choosing what is right even when it's difficult. It means trusting Allah in every situation. It means standing up for justice and never giving up on the truth. I pray that Allah gives us the strength to follow the example of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, to live with honesty, courage, and faith, and to keep the message of Karbala alive in our actions every day. Aur Aya Yazid lashkare joro jafa ke saath, Aya Yazid lashkare joro jafa ke saath, sabro raza ki fauj bola Ali Hussein ne. सब्रो रज़ा की फ़ौज बुला ली हुसैन ने पर मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद सलवात.
Contestant number 29, Fiza Ali. So we are missing one. Fatma Ali is not doing. So Fiza Ali. Everyone, yeah, Fiza Ali.
Assalamu alaikum.
Ready? Fiza Ali. Fiza Ali. Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today I want to tell you about an important historical event called the Battle of Karbala. It took place in the year 680 CE in Karbala, which is in present-day Iraq. To understand why this event is remembered, we first need to know some of the key people involved. One of the most important figures in this story is Imam Hussein ibn Ali, the beloved grandson of the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam Hussein was known for his kindness, courage, and assertiveness even when it was difficult. On the opposing side was Yazid, a ruler at the time whose leadership was widely challenged. Imam Hussein opposed the way Yazid ruled because he believed leaders should act with obedience to the Almighty God. Imam Hussein and a small group of companions traveled towards Kufa, but they were stopped at Karbala. There, they were surrounded by a large army. Despite having very few people with him and facing extremely difficult conditions, Imam Hussein refused to give up his principles. What makes this story so powerful is not about numbers or strength, it is about values. Karbala is not just a historical battle, it is a lesson about standing up for justice, speaking the truth, and not giving in to wrongdoing. Karbala teaches us many lessons, but of all the lessons, two stood out to me. To show courage in the face of pressure, and to remember that true strength comes from principles, not power. The story of Karbala is remembered not because of victory in a military sense, but because of the moral victory of those who stood for the truth. It should teach not just me or other Shias, but everyone with enough morals that to stand up against oppression is what makes humanity better. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Contestant number 30th, Sara Basnaqvi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to begin with Dua Mana Zamana. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma kulli waliyikal hujjat ibn al-Hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala abai fi hadhihi saati wa fi kulli saa waliyan wa hafizan wa qaidan wa nasira ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Now, from an ayat from the Quran, Surah Ahzab, ayat number 23. Among the believers are men who have proven true to what they pledged to Allah. Some of them have fulfilled their pledge with their lives. Others are waiting their turn. They have never changed their commitment in the least. When I reflect on this verse, I think about Karbala. I think about how the family of the Prophet had to choose between the easy path and the right path. When one thinks about Karbala, they think about tragedy and sacrifice. This is true, yes. However, when I think about Karbala, I think about how the family of the Prophet stood up for what is right, even though all odds were against them. Someone who inspired me the most from Karbala was Bibi Zainab alayhi wassalam. Her strength and courage was one thing to admire. Imagine witnessing the loss of your family and loved ones, yet still having strength to stand firm with utmost dignity. When she said her famous line, "I saw nothing but beauty," at first I really couldn't comprehend it. How can someone say something like that after witnessing bloodshed, after witnessing your sons, your nephews, your brother getting torn apart on the battlefield? But then I realized she wasn't saying how the pain was beautiful. She was saying how what they stood for was beautiful. How preserving the religion of Allah, how preserving the message of the Prophet was beautiful. This is really important nowadays because people tend to chase the latest trends and try to seek validation from high society. She teaches us that real strength is not in popularity. It is of faith and courage and standing up for what is right. I know personally I have a hard time of speaking up. I'm afraid of other people's opinions and what they'll think of me. So when someone's being mistreated, I tend to stay silent. But then when I hear Bibi Zainab and I think about all that she's been through, I would ask myself, what am I doing? If she is able to stand up and hold her head high with dignity, then why wasn't I able to? Regardless of who the victim is, I should be able to defend what's right, it being my best friend or a complete stranger. Another question I would ask myself is, if Imam Hussein was here to this day, would he be proud to consider me as one of his followers? Because love of the Ahlul Bayt is not simply weeping for them. It is to take in the lessons that they provide for us and apply it to our daily lives. It is allowing it to transform us. I know I would like to learn from Bibi Zainab to be more courageous and closer to Allah. Karbala is not just an event that happened 1400 years ago. It is an event that helps influence our choices between truth or falsehood, between courage or fear, between faith or comfort. As it is an event to help shape changes to all the aspects of our life, because this is what Karbala means to me. Thank you.
Now contestant number 31, Maya Mohsin. Maya Mohsin.
Assalamu alaikum.
Your time starts now.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين لقد كان في قصصهم إبرة لأولي الألباب. We will account to you the best of stories in what we have revealed to you of this Quran, and indeed prior to it you were among those who were unaware. And there is certainly a moral in their accounts for those who possess intellect. Surah Yusuf, verses 3 and 11. These verses of Surah Yusuf highlight how Allah has chosen to guide us as an ummah through stories. Stories allow us to connect with prophets and their successors who have not had the opportunity otherwise to meet, to get to know, to receive their guidance. They allow them to act beyond this dunya and to guide us and fulfill our purpose in this life, to worship Allah. Hence, that is what Allah means in Surah Yusuf when He addresses that as the best of stories. And it's also a reminder of our humanity and how we need to be humble. Only Allah has the power to do this, to craft the best of stories. And that is said in Surah Isra, verse 88, when Allah says, "Say, should all humans and jinn rally to bring the like of this Quran? They will not bring the like of it, even if they assisted one another." And that is what Karbala is. Allah's hand is in everything that we see in Karbala. And it's also, like the Quran, it is mentioned in the Quran too, Surah Fajr, wal-Fajr wal-Asr. That Allah wishes to guide us through this and is not something that He's neglected in that hand. So as Allah, Even before the events of Karbala, he sent it to us. But there's also elements of all stories that we see in Karbala that we need to take note. We see the craft and eloquence of it that Allah has to offer. We see how real it feels to us and moves us. And we see the themes of it that we cannot ignore in our lives. When we see Hussein saying, Hal min nasir yansarna, we cannot ignore his cry for help. Because we see the enemies and we see what we have inside of us that is like that. So in that way, his theme of persistence to always guide mankind is never lost. Lady Zainab and her persistent faith in Allah, in which never falters even when she sees nothing but beauty, the dead bodies of her sons, her family, the supporters of her brother on the battlefield, that does not cause her to falter because she has that firm belief in Allah, which we need to take note of. And the companions of Hussein and their sacrifices, that too, there are lessons for us to learn from. So thus, there's always ways in which Karbala is able to change our lives. And I see this in my own life as well. Sometimes it's hard for me to speak up for the truth, to push myself to try new things. But then I remember Lady Zainab speaking in front of Yazid and how she had so much strength, and that helps me too find strength. Then we also see the eloquence of Karbala in events leading up to it, the events during and after. In Dua Arafah, Imam Hussein makes his point clear that he is fighting for Tawheed. He believes in Tawheed, and he is thus establishing what he believes in and what everyone else should strive for. Lady Zainab, Assalamu alaikum, and Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, they gave speeches to spread the message of Imam Hussein, to show people the truth that Yazid wished to hide. And on Ashura, we hear the cry of Hal min nasir yansarna again. That too is eloquence in reminding people incessantly to never part from the truth, to strive no matter how difficult it is for them. So language is inseparable from Karbala. And to me, that shows that I miss hardship, that I need to also too use my voice too to show and spread the message of Islam. Language is also prevalent in our Messiah. When we feel the pain of the Imam, their companions, their followers, the women and the children as our own. One of the stories that resonates most with me is the story of Lady Rabab and Asghar alayhi salam. When the grief that she must endure, that is painful. And though I do not know of any children who have suffered that fate, I can still imagine that thanks to the power of her story. And that is what Karbala means to me. There are tragedies that have come before our own that can change us, that can make us be the people who are meant to be. And then I also see the literary legacy of Karbala and the events afterwards too. Thank you.
Right, so by now we are done with 31 contestants. There are 2 more contestants. I don't know, some technical issues so that we didn't get the names, but they were there. And we are here to encourage our children. So first I'll call judges, please. You need to see Minsa Zaidi. Do you all have the criteria for Minsa Zaidi? Sister Sabah, did you give it to him? Everyone, all judges have Minsa Zaidi? Minsa Zaidi, can you come please? That 8. The youngest group, that what? Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. To me, Karbala means sacrifice and standing up for the truth. When I think about Karbala, I think about Imam Hussein alayhi salam and how he stood up for what was right. He knew that the journey would be very difficult, but he never gave up. He was willing to sacrifice everything for Allah and to protect Islam and the truth. Karbala teaches me that doing the right thing is not always easy. Sometimes we have to be brave and stay strong even when we are scared or when everyone around us is choosing a different path. I also think about the family and companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. They showed so much love, courage, and loyalty. They stayed by his side and supported each other through the hardest times. Karbala also teaches me lessons that I can follow every day. I can tell the truth, be kind to others, help someone who is having a hard time, and stand up for someone who is being treated unfairly. Karbala reminds me to have faith in Allah, to be brave when things are difficult, and always try my best to do what is right. I pray that we can follow examples of Imam Hussein al-Islam and keep the beautiful lessons of Karbala in our hearts. Thank you.
Now the last contestant, Mahdi Zedi. Age group 12. 12. 12, right? You all have the form for Mahdi Zedi, right? Yes? Okay. Your time starts now.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I will be talking about what Karbala means to me. To me, Karbala means standing up for what is right even when you are standing alone. Imam Hussein alayhi salam taught us that we should never be afraid to speak the truth or stand against injustice. He knew that the journey would be difficult, but he chose to follow the right path because he knew that doing what is right is more important than choosing what is easy. Karbala teaches me that our actions matter. Even when we are young, we can make a difference by being honest, kind, helping others, and standing up for someone who needs our help. We can choose to be the person who does the right thing, even when no one is watching. When I hear the story of Karbala, I think about the strength of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, the bravery of Bibi Zainab, and the loyalty of all those who stood beside them. Their example reminds me to be strong in my faith, to have courage in difficult times, and to always choose good over evil. Karbala also teaches me that we should never lose hope, even during the hardest moments. The message of truth continued to live on. The story of Karbala has touched the hearts of people all around the world and continues to teach us valuable lessons today. To me, Karbala is not just a story from the past. It is a message that lives in our hearts and teaches us how to live today. It reminds me to always stand for the truth, to be kind to others, to help those in need, and to never be afraid to do what's right. May Allah help me follow the path of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Give me the courage to always stand for what is right and keep the beautiful lessons of Karbala alive in my heart. Thank you so much.
Now, okay, thank you, Mama. Now, Fatma Ali, you need to go back. She missed Karbala. So, Fatma Ali, senior category. Group B. Are you ready? All ready? Okay. Your time starts now.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The most beautiful thing about the question, what does Karbala mean to me, is that there's not a definitive answer to it. Karbala is not as straightforward as some may make it out to be as some sad event. It's layers upon layers of different values, stories, and morals of we as Shias apply to our everyday life. And it touches almost everyone's hearts differently. As you can see with everyone else's speeches, almost everyone had a different answer to the question, what does Karbala mean to me? And that's what's so unique about this topic. When my mom told me about this competition at first and told me the theme, I assumed it was going to be straightforward because it seems like an easy question, right? What does Karbala mean to me? You would think of stuff like courage, honesty, kindness, as those are the themes that we see in Karbala, but it goes so much more deeper than that. It took me weeks to actually articulate my feelings about what Karbala meant to me, as it's a personal question. One day I was sitting in the Imam Barga like the rest of you guys right now, and it clicked to me. It rejuvenates my soul and it brings me back from my feelings. Throughout the year, just as many of you guys and kids my age, I struggle with a lot of problems of my own. But Karbala is my escape from these problems. It makes me forget all about them and how small they are compared to what the Ahlul Bayt went through. It brings me back to a state of belief no matter where my heart is at currently. And whenever I think about the tragedy of Karbala, it brings me back to a state of belief even when I struggle with it. Salawat.
बहुत शुक्रिया एवरीवन। ये माशाल्लाह एक बहुत ही एक यूनिक मौका था कि इतने माशाल्लाह बच्चों से हमने उनके ख्यालात सुने एक ऐसे टॉपिक पे जिसको मैं बार बार रिपीट करता हूँ कि व्हाट करबला मीन्स टू मी। एंड आई वुड से कि ये जो ये बेसिकली बीबी ज़हरा की दुआ है कि जो कि माशाल्लाह इस तरह से ये बच्चे जो कि जिनको आप जेंजी कहते हैं, जिनको जो बहुत चीज़ों में इन्वॉल्व नहीं होते, वो इस मौजू के ऊपर बात करने के लिए तैयार हुए। इतवार के दिन पेरेंट्स लेकर आए, उन्होंने एक ऐसे मौजू पर बात की जो कि हम ये समझते हैं कि बच्चे तैयार नहीं होंगे, लेकिन ये देख के नहायत खुशी हुई कि बच्चे तैयार हैं बात करने के लिए, उनको फोरम नहीं मिल रहा बात करने के लिए। और इंशाल्लाह विलायत एकेडमी के प्लेटफॉर्म से मौलाना साहब की गाइडेंस, आप माशाल्लाह सबकी मोहब्बत की वजह से और खलूस की वजह से इंशाल्लाह हम इस प्रोग्राम को आगे भी बढ़ाएंगे और कोशिश करेंगे कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा वो फोरम प्रोवाइड करें लोगों को जो कि जिसमें बच्चे बोलना चाहते हैं, उनको बोलने का मौका नहीं मिलता। वो सोचते हैं लेकिन वो उसको कन्वे नहीं कर सकते होते। बहुत शुक्रिया। मैं मौलाना अनवरी साहब को मैं दूँगा कि थोड़ा सा आके आप अगर बात करें। बहुत शुक्रिया।
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Really encouraging to see the young men and women, our children, okay, speak so eloquently about Karbala, what Karbala means. In a sense, a lot of them have captured that basic theme of Karbala, to stand up against oppression, whatever time it may be, whatever space it may be, whatever odds may be against you. Okay? That's fundamental to Karbala. Yes, loyalty is there. Yes, truth is there. Yes, justice is there. But to stand up for that justice, that's what Karbala is. There are millions of Muslims today in the world, okay, who know what is right, okay, and what's wrong. Yet there are few who are able to take a stand. Karbala teaches us to take the stand. If you have learned anything from Karbala, it is to take a stand. Okay? Hussein's greatest contribution is turning the tide of history against oppression. ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि भाई कुर्बानी देकर घर बैठ गए, नहीं। ये कुर्बानी जो है ये हमेशा के लिए ऐलान है कि वो जो हक परस्त हैं वो कभी बातिल के सामने झुकते नहीं हैं, ठीक है। और अगर हमारे बच्चों में ये जज्बा पैदा हो जाए, ठीक है, जो आज हमने सुना, ठीक है, तो यकीनन हमने हुसैन से कुछ सीखा। 14 साल की तारीख में हुसैन के चाहने वाले कभी बातिल के सामने झुके नहीं हैं, दे नेवर सरेंडर। इसलिए जब कैपिचुलेशन की बात करते हैं ना तो उनकी समझ में तारीख नहीं आती, ठीक है, ठीक है। उनको अंदाज़ा नहीं है, ठीक है, कि जो हुसैन वाले हैं वो झुकते नहीं हैं, ठीक है, न कभी झुके हैं और न कभी झुकेंगे। यही बात है जो हमारे नौजवानों में, हमारे बच्चों में पैदा होनी चाहिए और मुसलसल होनी चाहिए। और इसका इसरार जो है मिंबर से भी होना चाहिए, महराब से भी होना चाहिए, ठीक है, हर जगह होना चाहिए। ये बात कि बातिल और हक की जंग हर दौर में रही है और रहेगी ता वक्त तक इमाम ज़माना का ज़हूर हो, और वो आखिरी जंग होगी, ठीक है। और उसमें भी क्लियर देयर विल बी क्लियर डिमार्केशन बिटवीन व्हाट्स राइट एंड व्हाट्स रॉन्ग, व्हाट्स ट्रूथ एंड व्हाट्स फॉल्स, व्हाट इज़ द पैथ ऑफ अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला एंड व्हाट इज़ द कोर्स ऑफ शैतान। कोई तब्दीली नहीं होगी इसके अंदर, ये मुसलसल है, मुस्तकिल है, ठीक है। तो हमें उस दिन के लिए तैयार होना है कि ज़हूर तो होना है, ठीक है। और वाकई जैसे एक बच्ची ने जो है वो बच्चे ने एक सूरह अहद की वो बात पेश की थी कि पालने वाले अगर मैं मर जाऊँ तो मुझे कब्र से उठा देगा, ठीक है। ये हर एक की ख्वाहिश होनी चाहिए और हर एक की दुआ होनी चाहिए। एक हदीस में आया है कि किसी ने अगर सिद्ध के दिल से एक बार भी ये दुआ की, एक बार भी दुआ की, ठीक है, तो उसे उठाया जाए। आइए हम दुआ करते हैं कि पालने वाले, ठीक है, अगर हमारे ज़माने में, हमारे ज़माने के इमाम का ज़हूर न हो तो जब उनका ज़हूर हो, ठीक है, हमें अपनी कब्रों से उठाया जाए ताकि हम उनका साथ दें और उनके कदमों पे अपनी जान को पेश करें। इन्नल्लाह व मलाइकतहू युसल्लूना अलन नबी या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू सल्लु अलैहि व सल्लिमू तस्लीमा।
So
अगर तैयार हो जाएंगे तो इंशाअल्लाह there will be a very bright future, because this event of Karbala is a magnificent event. There are a lot of things we can learn, and kids, especially young generation, they can think about various different things and they can really come up. It takes guts, really, it takes really courage to come up front and address the audience, and they need to learn that, and I really encourage you guys to do that, and this was the best event I have seen today. Thank you very much.
if any other judge want to add.
Mashallah, big congratulations to the team who did this. But actually, all the kids, no matter how they presented and how they read it, if they understand what they were reading, it's beyond imagination that you are all winner because you all understand Karbala. So it doesn't matter what the results are, you are all winners because you have said, every child has said the message of Karbala. So I'm really thankful to the parents or whoever helped them or to understand, or if it was their own struggle. MashaAllah, a big salwar.
बस टाइम कम है, मैं एक ही बात कहूँगी जो मौलाना साहब ने भी कही कि बातिल के सामने न झुकाएंगे सर कभी, बातिल के सामने न झुकाएंगे सर कभी, मेरी नज़र में उसवा इब्ने बतूल है।
Yes, mashallah, what the kids have done, what the parents have done, what the judges. So as you all have heard that it was a big team. It was not easy to set up a team like this, but mashallah, Allah ka shukr, I think we did it something with the support of everyone. Now, today is 19th July, so we had the speech competition. Next Sunday, that is July 26th, the same timing, the same venue, we will be having the documentary competition. Parents, they all already know, you have the criteria, the students also know, age group, all details, they are already there, and the judges also, obviously, they know. Now the results. I think you all know that it was not an easy task at all. It requires a tedious work behind. You can see we have a panel of 5 judges, and each judge gave you points, the raw points. That means out of 20, that what I shared with you all. So altogether, that means each participant will get the points out of 100. So we need time for that to count all the points with the judges' comments. As I said before, the decision of the judges, obviously that would be final. I'm just sharing this for parents. They might not know, but the students, they know very well that all the state challenges, the nationwide competitions, you always get results later. So that's why we will announce results later after Eid-e-Zahra. This is one reason. The second reason is, as I said in the beginning, we are, the entire team of Vilayat Academy, our organizing committee, everyone is so impressed with the audience, especially with the audience. I've been doing debates the whole life, but I've never ever seen the audiences like this with the very young kids, the way you all were listening to our contestants. So hats off to you all. It's like 2.5 hours. And you all, if everybody's here, the way we started, the hall is still full. Truly speaking, we were not expecting that very support from every one of you. So, but you see, we only serve you the tea, only 5 minutes in between. But, so we are really planning to have a grand celebration to encourage our students, our participants. But it doesn't look, fair or nice to have a celebration during Muharram. Next, the Shahada dates are coming. So it's not, nobody will accept, including us, including you all, that will give you something, and clapping and cheering. That's the reason we'll announce the results after Eid-e-Zahra. We'll have, inshallah, with all your support, a grand celebration where we'll announce the first, second, third, and special prize for the students, and everyone will get certificate as well. If anyone needs anything to ask about the prize distribution. Okay. Because, if I'll say so-and-so gets first, obviously you really want to clap, enjoy, cheer. During these days, we cannot do that, right? So in this way, we can conclude this first session today. Next session, July 26th, same timing, 10 to 12, inshallah. Please read a very loud salawat for everyone who's in the hall. And please make sure all those who are here, you registered, you must have got your bag and a few things inside. So make sure that you'll take it. Yes. Did if you've registered, you must have got the bag. See you next week, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.
अच्छा हुआ?
पहले बुलाने की मैं आवाज़ तेज कर दी थी, मैंने आपकी वॉल्यूम तेज
पता नहीं है
नहीं किया मैंने।
किया आपने किया बहुत कम हुआ
वो कम था, वॉल्यूम कम था।
बच्चे बोले ना असल में अभी हम दूसरा प्लान करना चाह रहे हैं दूसरे वर्कआउट करेंगे साथ और मसला ये है कि लोग कोई बात है इजी देख रहे होते हैं इजी में ये है कि मजलिस में क्या आ गया आसान सी बात है बच्चों ने इतना ज़्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट किया मैं हैरान हूँ क्योंकि देखिए होता है पेरेंट होते हैं वो एक बड़ी वजह जो होती है ना करने की पेरेंट भी सोचते हैं कि मेरा बच्चा वो बोल नहीं सकेगा मुझे हमें शर्मिंदगी होगी अच्छा बच्चा बोल रहा होता है पेरेंट कर रहा होता है ये बोलेगा कि हम शर्मिंदा होंगे
एक्चुअली पेरेंट्स को पता नहीं है कि आज का बच्चा सोशल मीडिया में कितना एक्टिव है, उसको सारे डिजिट्स का पता है।
असल में यही बात हो रही है इस दफ़ा नहीं सबको बेटर बैठा है इन लोगों से बात हो रही है कि अब आजकल बच्चों की नॉलेज पेरेंट्स से ज़्यादा है
और आपने जजेस को भी बहुत अच्छे से डॉक्टर
हमने तो यहाँ उनको सिस्टर अब्रीन से सबसे बात की थी
आई थी
उनको भी कहा मौलाना साहब ने कहा मौलाना साहब ने कहा कि मेरी पोती है जिससे मैं परसों को वो बिजी थी हमने सबसे पहले मैं इन्हीं से बात शुरू की